But they wouldn't let us sleep in the house. They say, sleep in the house, you're dead.
Tell us the story one time when you went in the barn and it was pouring rain out and then Patton showed up.
Patton showed up. I told Post, when you camouflage that Jeep and trailer, camouflage is good because Patton's on the prowl. Well, he didn't do a very good job because it was raining. He didn't want to get all wet, so he just put some branches on it and didn't do a very good job. Patton seen that we were in the barn. I was asleep. Most of the bitch was asleep. Patton comes and says, "Oh no, I'll get you. Yes, and that. You can get out there on the checkpoint right now." He said, "I'm on this shit. You guys are gonna be the same way."
So then what did you do?
And then what happened?
We got up and got the hell out of there.
And was this like very early in the morning?
3 o'clock in the morning.
Did you have much sleep that night?
Well, we slept 2 hours in the barn and then he woke us up.
So that was it?
Well, and then we were up all day next day.
So let me picture the barn. Would you guys take an upper position like on a second floor with a hay baler?
No, usually the hay was on the first floor for the cows and that. And we turned the snuggle up into the hay, and then the hay, the straw was real warm. You got enough on you.
Yeah. And what type of security did you have that night?
So you had security was normal. If you stopped anywhere, you had security out. 3 on, 3 off. 3 on, 3 off. 3 hours on, 3 hours off.
Wow. Did you have security detail yourself a lot?
Say again?
Did you have security detail a lot yourself?
Security enough?
Were you also some nights being security? Were you some night acting as a security guard?
Say again.
Some nights, did you get the position of being a security guard? Did they assign you to...
Well, there's a roster made up, and you put your time in for a security guard. 3 hours in, 3 hours off.
On the roster, did you get appointed much to security?
Yeah.
And what type of weapon did you have then?
I had a carbine and a .45.
And did you ever have any incidents? Did you ever have any incidents when you were...
No. It was too cold for the Germans to walk around and do the same thing. We had to hook it up in the barn someplace.
It was that... What do you mean by cold? How cold?
Cold. 10 degrees above zero.
Oh.
Cold.
Plus the snow.
And how much...
That's why I got frostbite. That got rid of the frostbite.
How many feet of snow?
Huh?
How many feet of snow?
3 or 4 feet of snow. And when we first got down there, we didn't have regular equipment for winter. So
What'd you have?
we had a regular GI clothes that we wore in the States.
Why did they give you winter clothes?
Because they were slow on the draw, and it took them a month to get the stuff out to us. And everywhere got frostbite and everything else.
How about those bamboo snowshoes? Were you ever issued them?
No. On snow?
Yeah, bamboo snow.
No.
Did you ever see those there? Bamboo.
I see them in a warehouse someplace. No.
How about, did you have any of the servicemen on skis?
That was a different outfit.
And why were they on skis? It was a different outfit.
They were up high out in the mountains.
Okay.
That was a ski patrol.
And
That
what
was a
was your
different division.
What was the ski patrol's duty?
They would use their skis as means of getting around. So the Jeeps, they had more access to ground up there with the skis.
Oh. Yeah, that's interesting.
What about passwords?
What about passwords? Tell us the passwords.
Right?
You told me, what about passwords? You mentioned in the book there's some type of passwords that you'd have to say.
Yeah, with the password every night. Password is sleep with me and eat. Password is jackass. Password is this is. Jackass pissed on you.
So you had to have a different password every
night you had a different password.
And was most of the passwords...
We try to make it so the Germans, with their accent, would be revealing.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Big both is usually revealing.
So was most of the passwords sarcastic? Was most of the passwords sarcastic in nature?
Oh, yeah. And the Germans weren't that sarcastic. They have a sense of humor.
You have a sense of humor. I like that.
Yes, yes.
Didn't you say one time there was Germans impersonating American
Oh,
soldiers?
yeah, they were dressed up in American GI stuff, and we were told, we dropped in on that area that night, and they said, look, you got to watch yourself because those Germans impersonating GIs in GI clothes. They killed GI, take his clothes, put them on.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And then we started up a system of identification. We had the identification specialist for the division, but the Germans couldn't pick it up. They said, well, you hit a German, he didn't know what the hell to do, so he ran.
Okay.
But these Germans that are impersonating American soldiers, did some of them speak English?
Did what?
The Germans that were impersonating American soldiers, did some of them speak English?
Oh, yeah, but they had that verbal accent. They couldn't get, they were
Shake it.
born with the accent, with the German, yeah.
Shake it.
So
And you could pick it up right away.
they could learn the language, but not the pronunciation.
Yeah. Well, that was a giveaway. They started talking, yeah.
And then what happens when you found out they're impersonators? What would happen to those German?
They would take a prisoner and send back with the MPs. Probably in the stockade. Back in the stockade someplace. They were prisoners of war.
Did the Americans try to do the same thing? Impersonate German soldiers?
Not in that, they set out a patrol. It was more for intelligence. They weren't up to kill anybody. They wanted to see where they were set up, what kind of equipment they had, how far back they were, and all that nonsense. So they weren't looking to fight with anybody. They were looking for intelligence.
I gotcha. Wow. I imagine most of those American impersonators got caught.
Is that what?
I imagine most of the German soldiers impersonating as Americans got caught.
Oh, yeah, they had that stupid accent. You could never get rid of that German accent.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, that is true. Okay, let me see where I was here. As we got outside, I murmured to Jean in a hoarse, barely audible voice that our parents as well as herself would make it tough to leave this pleasant little town. She held my hand and we started to walk at the end of the street. As usual, the bombers were out again in full force, and a constant heavy drone once again set off in me a shudder of despair and fear. Fear that I would never return to life I had experienced here in Wales, and yes, the good life I had also experienced in Owensboro.
Yeah, that was gone.
So those fighting jets really put fear in people. Those Spitfires.
Well, they know there was someone in your side, yeah.
We
But the
said,
Jets weren't concerned with us. They know we were down there. They just go up for the military stuff. They'll raise the equipment that they could kill the Germans out of their equipment. They would get rid of their equipment. They don't have nothing to fight for us.
yeah,
So they say, Achtung, Achtung, Achtung. We give up.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about that one German young soldier you faced in a culvert? Could you tell us that story?
Oh, young soldier?
Yeah, in a culvert.
Well, we usually try and seek cover in a culvert or brick building or wall or something. And I was in a culvert. I was on my knees, and I had an M1 then. My M1 was on my strap on the shoulder. I couldn't crawl with the M1, so I put it on my shoulder. And I heard something on the other side coming, so I took my M1 off and I stopped. And then he didn't hear me. He kept coming, and then when he came up, he was an 18-year-old kid.
Walking, I take it.
Yeah, German.
18-year-old German soldier.
Huh?
18-year-old German soldier.
Yeah. So he looked at me and I looked at him and he said, well, you're a crazy fool just like that. He's fighting in this damn war. Turned around left. Took me for granted I would shoot him in the back.
English?
Huh?
He said that in English?
He said, broken English, yeah.
And did he have the drop on you first?
Oh, yeah.
He had the drop on you, so
Yeah.
he could have killed you.
Well, he's a young kid.
He could have killed you right then and there.
Yeah, but if I come across any Germans and I had to kill them, I wouldn't kill them. I'd hit them in the knees or the shoulders. I'd never get the stomach and never get the head. So at least I got somebody to go back home to.
Yeah. So how close were you to this young German soldier? About how many feet?
How many feet?
Yeah.
Well, when we were on a patrol, we ran into them all the time.
No, but this particular case.
This guy,
Yeah.
there was, the patrol commander was a German first lieutenant. He was about 25 years old, West Point.
No, I meant when you met this guy in the culvert, the German soldier that had a drop on you, how many feet away were you from him?
About 3 feet.
About 3 feet.
Yeah.
So you went your way and he went his way.
Yeah, he turned around, smiled, turned around, and went back.
Turned around.
Well, we're the same age. That would kill one another. The hell with them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful situation. Wow.
Well, it's interesting to me because in a lot of the stories you hear, there's the animosity, you know.
Yeah.
You're a blankety blank blank.
Yeah.
German, and I'm gonna-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once you get in that, you gotta do it. That's all. You can't do nothing else.
All right, let's see. As we sat on the bench, I heard closely thinking of many things, but mostly what's ahead of me. I did not feel this way when I left home from furlough on my way going to overseas, which a good possibility of never returning. I was not overcome with the thought of leaving anything I had cherished and loved behind me forever. I was not overcome with the thought of leaving everything I cherished and loved behind me forever. I was all consumed with an encompassing guilt of leaving and shirking my responsibilities at home to run off to fight a war which I knew nothing about. So you didn't really know much about the war?
Well, what I was concerned about overseas, sitting in a jury hole or bar, I was worried if Amendola shake the ashes off the furnace, got them down so the furnace was working. If the furnace went out, they didn't have no heat.
Amendola,
They were the renters downstairs.
were the tenants downstairs where his mother was living, and he was worried about the tenant not properly servicing the furnace, so his mother and sister we should always have heat.
I told him, I said, watch Gus, he cleans that furnace out so you get the heat up there. I said, are you guys cold? Well, no. He was working, he was a plumber, he was working.
Yeah.
He'd shake the furnace and leave it there, take the ash out so on the side and go to work.
Now, where was this?
Huh?
That was his home.
He's what?
Your home. She asked where.
Yeah, that's where we lived, yeah, we're at home, on Orleans Avenue, yeah. That was my home, yeah. My mother and father lived there, yeah.
In New York.
New York. This is during the war, but,
Right.
yeah.
What part are you talking, the city or are you talking the state of New York?
State would be Buffalo.
Yeah.
New York State.
Is that where they lived in Buffalo? What part?
Your parents.
Buffalo is part of New York State.
Yeah, but what city did your parents live in?
Parents live in Niagara Falls,
Niagara Falls.
which is 30 miles away.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I did not feel as much sorrow and agony leaving Anne as I do now. The prospect of leaving possibly forever Jean and her parents, this ambivalent and sentiment always perplexed me whenever I thought about it, and it continued to mystify me for several years. I knew I loved Anne, but question became, did I love Jean more? With these depressing and chilling thoughts, I became quiet and reflective. Okay. Good night.
Right, right.
Take care.
Take care of
Lots of
yourself.
stairs are dark.
Take care.
You all too.
Good night.
Oh, wait a minute, Claire, do you have your purse? Your purse is on the chair over there.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
Oh, there's your purse, yeah.
Okay,
You
okay,
be looking all over the place about it.
okay.
You're exactly right. I really don't.
Okay.
And this is a much wider territory.
Yeah,
Great.
you said it, you said it.
No problem.
Okay, Claire. Good night, Claire.
Good night, honey.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire.
Yeah, Americans over don't know what those wars about. No bombing, no nothing.
Good night, Claire.
Night, good night. What time is it?
Little after 8. Okay, here. Which was depressing and chilling thoughts. I became quiet and reflective. It was only Jean's quiet voice that broke my despondent mood. I reached down and kissed her. Thanks for everything, I whispered as I held her. I'll never forget you and your folks. With that, I got up and said I had to get back. We walked back to the front gate and lingered for a while, disturbed only by the sound of planes aloft, and streaked to the appointed task. I kissed her once again, and she quickly left my side to return to the safety and tranquility of her little world. I thought how I envied her and perhaps loved her with the futility and hopelessness of a person destined not to be part of her life ever again. I was fortunate to get ration detail the next day and help me break up the monotonous repetition of the long, uneventful, trivial days. We all experienced our last few days here. We knew that we're only waiting around until the turn came up in the slot, which meant crossing the channel and getting assigned to a piece of this war. Ration detail was a day-long chore, and it consisted of great rations and equipment from the quartermaster depot in Milford Haven, and distributing them to companies in our area. There were 2 6x6s assigned to the task, and I drew the one that hauled the groceries to several mess halls scattered throughout the battalion region.
Where's she going? Downstairs?
Yeah, going downstairs. We were on the second trip from a Milford building of the 3rd Battalion, located in Clabberstone, about 10 miles due to north of Haverfordwest. Clabberstone was a much smaller town, or more likely a village, with most of the 3rd Battalion billeted in tents on its open pasture. The only troops billeted indoor the village were headquarters company and naturally the officers with rank of first lieutenant and above. The mess hall was located in an abandoned schoolhouse not too far from where most of the troops were bivouacked. I'm thankful our setup was more elaborate and consider myself fortunate to be located in a town with all the creature comforts plus the close proximity to Jean and her family. Our last stop of the day was our own mess hall as we unloaded the boxes and crates of rations. One box slipped off the tailgate of the trunk, smashed it open on a cobblestone street. We spewed about number 10 cans of sliced peaches, with the black mess sergeant took control of the situation. I mentioned the fact that the ration-starved civilians in town would really appreciate someone was lying on the street. He asked rather decisively if I knew any civilians. I said I knew a very nice family and they treated me well. He said, then we'll take a couple cans and stop by the kitchen when you are ready to leave. I'll give you something that we have left over. I thanked him. He put 3 to 4 cans on the front seat of a truck. They continued to unload the remaining rations. I wondered how Jean and her parents would react to these gifts. And that's the end of that chapter 8. And now tomorrow, it'll be chapter 9 on page 218. So I'm gonna put this in here like this, like this, like this, like this. I'm gonna show my father some of Haverfordwest picture.
Huh?
I'm gonna show him.
Turn this off then.
Yeah, turn that off, put that book back and check his mail. I don't find the Haverfordwest.
All right.